This is Lisa, aka 80's Child, coming at you with another Suits review for Season 9, Episode 3, Windmills. Thank God this picture actually works. I know the last two videos didn't come out so well because the background kept fucking up, but now this is perfect. Okay, so we're on Episode 3, and it is a doozy. It seems like Faye is there to stay, and no matter what they do to get under her skin or piss her off or try to force her out, none of it's going to work. Because she is, you know that old saying, immovable object, unstoppable force? Yeah. The unstoppable force is Faye, the immovable object. Or the unstoppable force is the firm, the immovable object is Faye. She's not going anywhere, no matter what they try or what they do. So, before we start, the usual housekeeping, spoilers ahead, so please, if you have not watched the episode yet, although by now I can't assume why you wouldn't, but if you haven't watched it yet, please go no further, press pause, or watch something else, and give me some more subscribers to my channel. More subscribers means more opportunities to make this fine content for you. Right there, you know what to do. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty. 903 Windmills. So, this takes place, of course, right after 902, where Faye has told Lewis that because of his actions trying to get the IT guy, Brandon, to hack the New York bar, he just should be entirely grateful that he's not fired, basically, because she could have not only fired him, but reported him to the bar to be disbarred because of his actions, completely unethical. Although, Harvey thought I do have a point. He didn't actually verbally tell the IT guy to literally hack the bar. It was just that because he wouldn't help him out and he wouldn't give him the paperwork or the password that he was asking for, the kid had no other choice. He had to get it somehow because Lewis would insist that he do his job. And that was the only option that this guy had available to him. But when you're talking about ethics, Lewis did not verbally tell him to hack anything. The kid took that upon himself. He could have said no and he could have walked away, but he didn't. So, I'm not placing 100% blame on either party. All I will say is that they both have their own crosses to bear. Anyway, because of those actions, he has lost his status as managing partner. His name is still up there on that wall, of course, but Faye now controls everything. Lewis doesn't like this. Lewis has had it bad the last, I would say, few days, 2 weeks since Faye's been there. And it's been just one thing after another that keeps piling up. First, she shows up out of the blue and destroys their happiness. Then she tells them she's taking complete control and they will have no say about the cases they accept or do not accept, and no say about their clients, that everything has to go through her. Then she humiliates him and pretty much castrates him in front of everybody, making him look like a cowardly fool, even though he's not. And you know how, as I've said in the past, how Lewis feels about being bullied. To him, I could tell this was him feeling as though he was being bullied. So, and then on top of everything else, he loses his status as managing partner, which is everything he's worked towards in his entire time being there at the firm. There's a scene where he goes to his psychiatrist. Stan makes a reappearance. Gotta love Stan. And he explains to Stan that on his bucket list, his dream list was to go to Harvard, become a managing partner at a firm, and then become a judge. And he became a managing partner at a firm. All he's got left is to become a judge. And that actually does come up in this episode in an interesting, kind of crazy way. at the beginning of the episode, he's discussing with Sheila, his stress. She could tell that he's stressed out, that he's angry, he's upset, he's frustrated, he doesn't know what to do. There's things he wants to say, but he can't say anything because, he puts one toenail out of line, Faye will sniff it out, and he'll be gone. So everyone is kind of right now feeling the heat. So Sheila sees that he's frustrated, and she, as much as she wanted him to take managing partner because she knew that he was capable, and he's done a wonderful job with it so far, she also loves him, and she doesn't want to see him so stressed out. So there's a possibility that with what he's saying to her, that she might take that as an idea, like a cry for help in a sort of way. Although I don't think Lewis sees it as that. Lewis is optimal. His thrusters are engaged to save this firm. Because the firm, it's not just about the building or the company. It's about the people. He considers them his family, because other than his sister, I don't know very much about his parents, I don't really discuss that, but everybody there they're not just his friends, they are his family. And this dude will fight tooth and nail, like, to the bitter fucking end before he lets Faye take them down. So Lewis is stressing out, and all he really wants is his friends to be there for him, to back him up, because he doesn't know how much more he can take with her doing all this crap, and he's like a fingernail's breadth away from just calling it quits. But Harvey and Donna know how much the firm means to him, and they know that there's no way that he could find it within himself to just walk away like that. It's too precious. He's worked too hard to establish this place and to make it what it is, to just run out on them. And they assure him, don't worry, we will be there. Because he's worried that because of their new relationship and that they're still in that honeymoon phase, that they're going to be paying more attention to each other and being together than they are to the firm's issues. And they're like, Lewis, while we're here, we are working. We are in it. We are on it. Done. What we do outside of this when we're home, that's our personal time. But here, we're in it. After that, first scene we have is the Darby one. That's the one we saw in the sneak peek. They're having a discussion. He's a little concerned because she didn't come over last night. Apparently, they've been spending the night at each other's places off and on ever since this happened. They're definitely in that honeymoon phase. If they're already into it this much, I mean, Harvey wasn't into it this much when he was with Scotty. I'm not going to mention all because she don't count. But his most intimate relationship outside of Donna was Scotty. And he never reacted like this with her. So this is for real. Like, for real, for real. This is what he wants. He's all in. Completely all in. And so is she. But he's a little worried that she didn't come over, Hey. And she says, well, I need some time to myself. I was kind of worried because I had some concerns. And this stems from what happened in last episode where Lewis was about to fire the IT guy, and Harvey and Donna was like, no, that's not happening. You need a partner vote on that. And no. And so he asked Harvey, and he's like, yeah, no. But the way he was looking at Donna, Lewis is like, you're only saying that because you're dating Donna and you don't want to piss her off. You want to make her happy, so you're just going to agree. Which is kind of true because Harvey, I don't know exactly what Harvey's opinion would be on it. I don't think he would let the kid get fired. But the point was he acquiesced too quickly and too easily. His personality type is more to butt heads and to argue. He's more forceful than that. He's not a pushover, and he was being so at that point to make Donna happy. Because, he still has those abandonment issues because of his mother and other people in his life constantly leaving him. This relationship is the most important one he's ever had in his life. and he's not willing to do anything to fuck it up. He's afraid if he does one thing to piss her off, she's going to walk away. I don't think he could take that because he loves her that much. So when she realizes, oh my God, you think I'm going to leave you over something like that, especially over anything here? No. So she totally sets him straight to make sure that don't worry about work stuff. You know, you say whatever you need. I don't want you to change who you are here to suit me. I love you for you. That confident person that you are that makes you Harvey Specter, you stay that way. If you disagree with me, you take issue, you go ahead and say it. It's all good. I'm not going to get mad at you for it. We might disagree about it, but I'm not going to leave you over it. I mean, come on. So that seems to kind of calm him down. And so he suggests, and in this exchange, we find out that Harvey apparently occasionally watches Oprah. Which, you know something, I know that some fans think that's surprising, but I don't think that's very surprising because Harvey is so stressed out at work most of the time that I think he probably enjoys the little things. Anything that he can get his hands on that would drive out the stress, even if it doesn't seem like something that he would do, it makes kind of sense. You know, anything that will put a little smile on his face or may help him to not think about what's going on at work or not stress, I think he would probably do. Maybe not something crazy, but something like that, watching a cheesy talk show, yeah, sure. You know, if it helps him turn his brain off for a little while, why not? You know, because you can't come into work being angry and being stressed out. You gotta come into work clear so you can do your job, especially in that kind of job. So he says that he suggests to her that they should have one night a week, just them, when they go out to eat or do whatever, and do not talk about work, anything but work, so that they can clear all their minds and work stress and all kinds of work bullshit and just be them and have a nice time. He figures it would help them to clear away all the crap and just, not stress. And she's like, who are you? And you know what? I kind of understand where she's coming from, because this is not the Harvey that we're used to. The Harvey that we're used to is not an emotionally available Harvey Specter. Most of the time, he doesn't talk about feelings like ever. So, yeah, if there's one thing I can pry Paula with not talking about the relationship with Harvey, I will give Paula props for helping him to come to terms with his issues, with his abandonment issues, and with, a lot of deep-seated things. She might not have had the most common sense, but she does know her job, and she really did help him, her and Stan both. He's really, this is a testament to Gabriel Macht, his ability in portraying Harvey Specter all these years, how he shows that change and that character growth. Oh, also a shout out to Gabriel Macht. He directed this episode. Fine job as always. I think this is the last one he's going to be directing. This is the last season. So she's kind of surprised that he would react like this, because that's not the Harvey that we know, but he has changed so much. And now that he's in this relationship with Donna and he's exactly where he wants to be, I don't think I've ever seen him so at peace. It's not just that he's happy, he's at peace. Yes, there might be turmoil at the firm, but it's not eating him alive like it used to. Before, when the firm was in an upheaval, he was always angry, he was always frustrated, he was always on edge, and it was always a hair's breadth from knocking somebody the fuck out. Now he's just, yes, things might be fucked up, and yeah, things are crazy, but he's figured out how to take it in stride and let the stress roll off. And that's amazing, because that is such a change from the Harvey of season 1. Honest to God. And it just shows such an amazing progression in character growth. I just, all the awards to Gabriel Macht, honestly. So anyway, she agrees, and they decide that at some point they'll go meet. So while they're trying to discuss this, they get a call from Gretchen that they need to go see Lewis, like, right now. Gretchen always seems to be the one that's blocking them every time they're trying to talk. You know, when you're at work, this episode is kind of them trying to find that work-life balance, you know. So they go to see Lewis, and he lets them know that he's lost managing partner, that she took it, and that she now controls the entire firm, and Harvey's not. Nope. Harvey's not hearing it. So he's about to march his pretty last in there and be like, fuck you, and no, but Donna's like, hold up. If you do that, you're just putting more fuel on the fire. There has to be another way that we can go about this without making her more angry, because the more angry she gets, the more shit she's going to pull. And it's just going to make the whole situation worse. So Harvey takes it on himself. Well, first he goes to her anyway, regardless of what Donna says, because he's already so pissed. Well, Donna goes to see Lewis to make sure he's okay. And yeah, I made a mistake. They didn't go talk to Lewis. They talked to Gretchen. Gretchen filled him in on what was going on. So Donna went to talk to Lewis, and Harvey went to go speak with Faye, rather to cuss Faye out. But she's, like I said, immovable object. She don't give a damn. She simply says he fucked up. He's lucky that he hasn't been disbarred or fired, or worse yet. And this is the way that it's going to be until you guys can prove to me that you know, you're on the up and up. And if you keep doing this shit, then I'm going to be here. You know, the longer you keep pulling your shit, the longer I'm going to be here. If you can prove to me that you guys are straight, then I would be more than happy to march my happy ass out of here. But until you do, I ain't moving. So you're just going to have to deal with it. And Harvey wants to argue with her, but he can't. He can't threaten her. He can't try something seedy or underhanded, because she won't even entertain it. She'll just fire him and disbar him, and he'll lose everything. Like, she literally doesn't give a shit. There's no arguing with her. There's no negotiating with her. So Harvey does a little bit of research on his own, and he comes up with a client who is in need of an attorney. He's not their client yet, but he's in need of an attorney. He's a business owner who's about to lose his company because another company is buying him out, and he doesn't want to lose his company. So he figures that this person would understand where Harvey's coming from, because Harvey feels the same way. He has this firm that he's built up from the ground up, and that he loves, and now some interlopers come in and they've taken over everything that he's built, and you know, so he figures that this prospective client will understand. So he makes him an offer, does his snazzy wheeling and dealing, and says to him that I will represent you in court and make sure that those attorneys don't take your company. And so he suggests what he wants him to do is to sue the board. And he's like, I can't sue the board. They'll fire me. But apparently, because he's a shareholder as well, that gives him the ability to sue the board. Even though they're mid-litigation, he still has the ability to sue the board. And if he can sue the board, he has the opportunity to get his company back. The reason why Harvey chose this particular client is because the attorneys that are representing the other company, the one that's trying to take over this guy's company, that firm is the firm that Faye used to work for, the one that she was the managing partner of. So he wants to kick them in the teeth to kick her in the teeth. He figures that will rile her up enough that she will show her ass, do something seedy that she shouldn't do, something unethical, and then she'll be forced to leave. It's not blackmail. It's kind of like he's trying to get her to hang herself with her own rope. But Faye, she's a bit smarter than that. And she's also the type of person, from what I've seen, that doesn't rattle. Not easily, not at all. So while this is going on, Samantha and Alex are trying to figure out a way to get Faye out. But Alex is so petrified of screwing up around Faye that he refuses to entertain any plan that has any seedy shit, that has any underhanded shit, any illegal shit, nothing, none of. He basically kind of tells her, whatever you know how you love to use your dirty tactics, well, you can't. Your go-to is not going to be your go-to. You can't, investigate her and find out some dirty trash on her and try to blackmail her out. No. Whatever plan we have, it has to be on the up and up. So they try to figure something out, and there doesn't seem to be anything that they can do. Every plan that they try to figure, they realize that she will figure a way out of it, or that it's not strong enough, that there's not enough leverage. Samantha comes up with a plan of her own. It's not illegal, but it is slightly unethical. Slightly. Not enough to get her disbarred, but it's toting a fine line. And Alex is like, oh, no. I told you, it's not happening. Whatever plan that this is, I told you that if it involves some seedy, unethical shit, it's not happening. He is very stern about it, like completely stern. And they get into kind of a argument because she feels like her hands are tied and she can't, she's stressed out and she wants to do something because, she's still dealing with the effects of losing Robert. And the only thing she has right now is the firm, because she doesn't have a family of her own. She was adopted or grew up in foster care, I guess. So she doesn't have a family really of her own or anybody that she's close to. So the firm has become her de facto family, which is unusual because she seems like the type that doesn't get close to a lot of people. But this place is the type of place where usually that doesn't last. People become close very quickly. And that's why, even though the personalities are very different, at the end of the day, they have each other's backs always. They're family. So she doesn't want to lose that. So she's trying everything she can try to salvage that, even going so far as toeing a very thin line, a very thin ethical line. So Alex says to her, look, we need to kind of set this aside for a second and we need to relax. Just like in the last episode where he took Lewis bowling, which she couldn't even believe, but it made sense to her because when Lewis is angry, that's when he typically gets shit done, right? He says to her, why don't you come over? Rosalie has been asking, his wife has been asking about you. Why don't you come over, have dinner, relax. We don't have to talk shop or nothing. We can just try to de-stress. And at first, kind of, because she's not used to being around a family dynamic, but Rosalie is her friend, so she's like, okay, sure. And when she does go over there, it seems like a nice night at first, but then the daughter comes home, and apparently he has two daughters, because the older daughter is at a tap class, which I know for a fact that Dule probably put in there somewhere, because that's his thing. That's a very, that little plot point is a Dule Hill insert, I could tell. But when the daughter comes home, Rosalie is like, "Hey, did you realize there was a dent in the back of the car?" And he's like, "Huh? What are you talking about?" Well, the last person to drive the car before the mother was the daughter. And she was like, "I don't know. I never saw anything. I brought it home. When I did, it was fine." But you can tell she's lying. And eventually they do bust her, that she accidentally hit a light pole in the garage. So they kind of riff back and forth, typical family thing. You either pay for it or you're not going to drive the car for a whole month. You know, and she's, why are you being so, typical teenage, whatever. And since Samantha looks really uncomfortable at first, because this is not a dynamic that she's used to. She's used to being by herself or with adults without children. So it's not uncomfortable. She almost seems kind of sad in a way, because she's never had this for herself, that kind of family dynamic, because she was in foster care. So I think there's the gears, you can see the gears turning in her mind as she's watching the family do their thing. And that starts off another subplot, because towards the end of the episode, she comes to Alice to apologize for, putting him in a bad position with her idea, but he says that it's okay. He understands that she's stressed out, with losing Robert, and she's doing whatever she can to help the firm. And she says she thanks him for inviting her over, because it got her to realize that she really is missing that valuable part of her life, the knowledge of who she is, who her family is. She's lonely, because without Robert, who is she? Who does she have? The firm can only be her family, but so far. So she has decided to take it upon herself to look into her past and find her birth parents, find her biological parents. I don't know how that's going to go, but we shall see. While that is happening, Katrina sort of gets a new associate. Katrina's working on a case, a really important case, and an associate comes to her offering to help. Now, Katrina, I know right now is a little wary of being around anybody because of what happened between her and Brian. Fortunately, this associate's a female, so that's not an issue. But she just doesn't want to deal with people right now in general at work. I think because of what happened and what could have happened, she just wants to maintain a level of professionalism across the board. And if she's going to date anybody, it would be outside the firm. So the associate offers to help her because she wants to be her associate. But the problem is she's doing it for the wrong reasons. She's not doing it because she enjoys working with Katrina or because, they work well together. She's doing it because she's ambitious and she wants to get ahead. Apparently, the associate knows people involved in the case, and she feels that she can go and talk to them and butter them up and try to move things along in their favor. Katrina doesn't want that because that would look bad. That would look like the only reason that they might have made out good in the case was because of that, and that's not right. It has to be done legally, especially with Faye there. There can't be any hiccups. At first, it seems like they work well together. The associate finds an email that's pivotal to her case that had been altered badly that would help her. which kind of impresses her that she has researched this so thoroughly. So they do work together for a little while, but once she realizes what the associate wants to do, she's like, look, I already said if you wanted to be my associate, you had to prove to me that you could do the job. And one of the parts of the job is being able to let things go when you're told, kind of knowing your place, right? So she seems to let it go. But then we find out later on in the episode, she went ahead and talked to her contacts anyway. It didn't necessarily jeopardize things, but it made Katrina look bad because it made it look like she had no control over her associate or subordinate. This is supposed to be Katrina's case, not the associate. The associate went behind her back. Not good. So she confronts her, and the associate tells her, well, you know, you could let me go if you wanted to, but I know why Brian really left. And then the look on Katrina's face just, say what? I'm sorry, what? Apparently, the associates, I guess the gossip must have flown, because I'm guessing the associates really do believe that she and Brian had tryst, which is not true. That never happened. He left before that could ever occur because he loves his wife. This associate believes, or at least believes the rumors, and is threatening to go to Faye with it to get her in trouble. Now, Katrina is in a position of power over her. She can tell her to, hey, chick, you need to back the fuck up. Because honestly, Katrina is in the right. What this associate did was wrong with the client, and what she's doing now is even more wrong. So honestly, Katrina has the power here, but she's so afraid of screwing up around Faye that she didn't know what to do. So she goes to she goes to Samantha, because in the past, she's had to stand up to Samantha before as well. And she asks her, you know, when you had to stand up for yourself, like, when did you know that it was the right thing to do or that it was the right time? When were you sure to do it without getting into trouble? And Samantha says to her, well, you know, the most important thing you need to know is that, are you in the right? If you're in the right, then you standing up to someone or confronting someone should be of no consequence to you, because you're not wrong. You have the power. You just have to know how to do it the right way. And Katrina does. She calls the associate in. This is the most glorious piece of work I've ever seen. And this is a testament to, you know, it's funny because when Katrina first came there all those seasons ago, she was a white ball bitch. Like, there was a reason why Mike couldn't stand her. And I'm wondering where that Katrina went to, because she's really changed a lot. She's toned it down a lot. And I know that we like the fact that she's not the way she used to be, but in a lot of ways she's become more of like a pushover of sorts. I wish the old Katrina that we're used to would come back a little bit. Get a little, you know, in there. So she says that she's proud of her for her fine work and for coming to her with the email, which she would not have found herself, well, or at least at that point in time anyway. Because I'm sure given more time that Katrina probably would have found it on her own. But she wants to offer her the associate job, to become her associate, which means that she'll have to have her own office. So first, but before she can do that, she needs to get permission to requisition the office from Faye. So she walks with her over to Faye's office, and the associate's like, "Ooh, we have my own office, yeah, go me!" And I'm, no, and you could already tell this was not going to go the way she wanted it to go. So she lays it out for Faye. It's like, yeah, she did an amazing job. You know, she made a mistake, but she came to me with it. She was upfront. We fixed it, and she's done a wonderful job so far. And because that's one of those things that Faye really values, is that if someone makes a mistake, that they're upfront about it, they own it, and they fix it. And she was like, oh, I'm really proud of you. That's really great. Is there anything else? And she just looks at her. Katrina looks at her and goes, I don't know. Is there anything else? And the look on her face, because at that point, if she had come forward to Faye to say what she really wanted to say about Katrina, that shit would have blown up in her face. Absolutely blown up in her face. Because here you just got showered with accolades, and you know, she's saying how wonderful you are, that you made a mistake, and that you came forward about it. So now, if you come to Faye and you give her this inside dish, which amounts to blackmail, what is she gonna think of you now? Katrina's just like, go ahead, bitch. Go fucking ahead. Open your goddamn mouth. Yeah, I didn't think so. Shut down, mic drop. So that was the end of that. The associate apologized, and that was it. I don't think she's going to be Katrina's associate if Katrina has one at all. But yeah, that situation was nipped in the bud. But that had to be one of the. That was well done. That scene was well done. All the props to Amanda Shaw for that scene. So in the bigger plot with Lewis and Faye, he's freaking out at this point. As I said, all he wants is the assurance that his friends will be there for him, no matter what. So Harvey secures the company owner, the corporation owner, as a client. And he brings that to Faye. And Faye's like, okay. She's surprised that he would go that far, but there's nothing that she can do because it's not illegal. It's not entirely unethical. It's toting a fine line, but it's not. So he's just waiting for her to say something, anything, to do anything. She's like, if you think that's going to rattle me, well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but no. You can go right on ahead and you can do whatever you want to do. So that case is going along. And while it is, Lewis gets a call to have lunch with an old friend of his from Harvard. They went to law school together. And the guy is a judge. They've known each other for years. They're on a first name basis. His name is Saul. And he says, Lewis, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Everybody in the legal community has heard about what's gone on in the firm, what's happening right now with the special master being there. I want to help you out. I know that on your bucket list, your fondest dream is to become a judge. And right now, there's a position open. It might not be open for much longer. And there's nobody better suited to be on that bench than you. You were born to wear a judge's robe. But if you don't make a decision on this pretty soon, and whatever happens with Faye doesn't go your way, this chance will not come around again. Ever. If she does not rule in your favor, and your firm goes down, you can forget ever banging a gavel. Ever. So he's giving him some food for thought, something to chew on, And at first he's like, oh, Saul, I can't leave my family. I can't leave my firm. This is my place. This is my people. But he does give him some food for thought, because what's going to happen if it doesn't go his way? What's going to happen if Faye continues to shit on him over and over? Is he just going to stand there and take it? Or or maybe it's time to move on. You know, he's been there at the firm for a lot of years. Maybe it's time to, you know, take the next step up. I mean, this judgeship is all he's ever wanted. This is his big chance. So he says that he'll think about it. But he's very hesitant. He goes home to discuss it with Sheila. He's been offered this judgeship, and she's acting like she's surprised at first. Like, oh my God, you're going to take this without telling me? Without discussing it? And he's like, well, I haven't taken it yet, but I just wanted to tell you, you know, what was going on. And I thought you'd be happy because you know this is something that I really want. And she's like, well, yes, but I just didn't think you were going to leave the firm so quickly like that. But you got to understand what he's going through right now. So he's very undecided. He doesn't want to leave them. He doesn't want to accept the judgeship because he feels like he'd be leaving them in a huge lurch to have to deal with all the crap of Faye on their own. He feels like he owes it to them to at least stay until it's ironed out and then possibly leave. But what he realizes in having this conversation with Sheila is that Sheila was the one that called Saul and told him what was going on. And that was why Saul came to him with the offer. But it wasn't because he was feeling sorry for him. It's because he knows that Lewis is very well suited for this job. She says that Saul was thrilled because she feels like he was born to be on the bench, and this is where he's meant to be. And it kind of convinces him to really, like, he's like 3/4 of the way ready to take this judgeship, especially considering that he feels like Harvey and Donna, that solid friendship that they have, is slipping away. Anywho, so that day, Donna and Harvey decide to take an early dinner. This is, you remember, the plan from that first scene where they were talking about having just one night per week where it's just them and they talk about anything but work. This is, you know, Harvey is stressed because before she suggested going out to dinner, she realized Harvey is pissed off because apparently the board of directors decided to fire the owner of the... He promised this guy that he would not get fired for suing his board, and they did just that. They fired him. So now the guy's pissed off. He's like, what am I going to do? You know, what am I supposed to do now? Now I don't even have a company because now I'm fired. But he promises that he will fix it. Harvey promises he will fix it. He will find a way. At first he goes to Faye and he's like, you bitch. Because he's almost certain that she had something to do with this. That he must have gotten under her skin so much that she found some way to fuck this up. But he can't prove it. He's stressed out. He can't figure out how to fix these situations. So Don is like, okay, come on. Let's go and do what we said we were going to do. Let's go eat. Not talk about work. Once you clear your head, at first he's like, I can't leave work. I got to deal with this cake. Hey, if we go and eat, you can clear your mind. And if your mind is clear, then that should help you. It's always helped you in the past that when your mind is clear, that's when you get your best ideas to fix your shit. So they go and eat, and the cute little date scene is just so cute. It's so cutely awkward. It's funny because they've known each other for 15 years. And the fact that Gabriel and Sarah have known each other for longer than that, I mean, it makes it funny that it's so awkward. Because they've never had a shortage of things to say. They've been in their lives every minute of every day for the last 15 years. So you find it weird that they would have a shortage of things to say to each other. It's not like this is the first time that they've ever gone out to eat. They go out to eat at that same restaurant every year on the anniversary of the day that she came to work for him. So it's not like, you know, But I have this niggling suspicion that this is actually their first like going out in public date. I think that they go to each other's houses, they go to each other's apartments after work, but they haven't actually gone out in public together. I think this is their first time, so this is very like weird for them to get used to doing this. So that's why it was kind of like, yeah, water is wet. Writing good books like what? Like, so eventually they do kind of manage to break the ice, and Harvey tells her of an old story about an old friend's mother who was a redhead that he had a crush on when he was a teenager. And it kind of softens things up and gets the flow going, and they spent the rest of the evening there talking and having a really great time. And I've never seen the two of them so happy together. Oh my god. They're so perfect. Darby. Hashtag Darby. So yeah. And while they're sitting there talking, his mind is cleared, and he realizes, oh my god, I know what I have to do now. And after that revelation, Donna gets a phone call from Lewis. He really needed to talk to them about the possibility of leaving. He was really stressed out and freaking out. He just wanted his friends there, but he didn't know where they were at because they had left work early. So he pried the information out of Gretchen. Gretchen's like, look, they just started a relationship. Can you just give them the evening and then talk to them in the morning when they come to work? Seriously? Like, give them a break? And he's like, I need to talk to them right now. So she's, she doesn't want to do this, but she ain't really got a choice. She says that she'll give them the location, but he better not use it. Like, at all. She'll tell them where they're eating dinner at, but please, God, leave them alone. By the way, the reason why Donna was even able to do this, that's another thing that irked the shit out of me about Faye. It's not only that she's getting under everybody else's skin, but the way that she's treating Donna specifically is pissing me off. I feel like she looks at Donna like she is less because she's not an attorney. In this episode, because she just became managing partner, she took that over from Lewis, she had to get her office straight and her files straight. So she doesn't have her own secretary because managing partner's secretary is Gretchen. Gretchen works for Lewis. So she doesn't have one of her own yet. They're still trying to get one for her. So she goes to Donna because she's heard from around, of course, because every law firm knows that Donna is, perfect. Donna is Donna, the best legal secretary ever. So she asked her temporarily if she could help her with her files until her secretary assistant comes on board in a couple of days. And she's like, that's not my job. I'm the COO. I work my ass off so I can get to this point. I'm not going back down the other way. That's below my pay grade. I mean, what the hell? And Faye's like, you know what? We can argue, really, but honestly, it's just temporary. I don't know why you're being such a bitch about it. And she's like, because it's not my job anymore. I'm not in that position anymore. I am COO. You can't do this yourself? Like, seriously, what the fuck? So what if I say no? It's like, well, you could say that. Are you going to fire me too now? But, Faye can't do that because Donna hasn't done anything wrong. She doesn't have to take this job because she doesn't have to do this for her. But because Faye is managing partner and it would cause disruption and make things worse all around, Donna gives in and is like, okay, fine. So when Harvey comes to her needing advice about this client, he sees her buried in files. He's like, what, huh? And she explains that, she's doing some secretarial work for Faye. He's like, oh, no, you're not her fucking servant. What the fuck? And he's about to go march his happy little ass in there again to give her the what for it. And Donna's like, no, just stop. And this is when they have the discussion about going out to eat dinner. she doesn't want him to fight her battles for her. Just because they're in a relationship doesn't mean that she needs him to fight her battles. She's strong enough to take on Faye on her own. She can, trust me, she has been through worse. She can handle it. She can handle her own work and doing a little bit of foul work. But in order to be able to leave a little early to go have dinner with Harvey, she hasn't finished that work. So Gretchen offers to finish it for her so that she and Harvey can go eat. Apparently, yeah, Gretchen knew, but like, come on, this is Gretchen. Of course Gretchen knew. So, and that's not surprising at all, of course. So, yeah, so while they're having dinner, Donna gets a phone call from Lewis, but she doesn't want to. Harvey's like, hey, come on, we promised that it would just be you and me and no work stuff. So she turns off her phone, but what they don't realize is that Lewis is looking through the window. He went there. He didn't go inside, but he was watching to see if Donna was going to answer the phone. After she hung up on the phone call, Harvey made another joke about them going home and then him pretending to be Harvey as a teenager and her being the older woman or whatever. They weren't talking about Lewis. So when they were laughing about that joke, Lewis couldn't hear them. So he only assumed that they were laughing about him, which wasn't true. Lewis always jumps to conclusions all of the time. So the next day when they come to work, Harvey has finally figured out what he's going to do. He does his research and he finds out that there was a phone call placed between Faye and the lawyers at her old firm. And he deduces that after he came to her telling her that he was taking this case, that she was the one that called the firm to have the lawyer, to have them have the stockholders fire him. So he throws that in her face and she comes right the fuck back with, no, I didn't. They called me. And I never end up, maybe I was tempted. Okay, yes, you got under my skin and you pissed me off. But that doesn't mean I was going to do something unethical. That doesn't mean that I was going to screw you over, because that's not who I am, unlike you. So she didn't actually do what he thought. But Harvey being Harvey, he still manages to find another way around it. He finds another company, another corporation willing to buy the guy's company and hire him on as the CEO so that he won't, in fact, lose his company he's worked so hard for. So at the end of the day, of course, Harvey the Fixer fixes it. But it still doesn't move Faye at all. And she makes that very apparent at the end of the evening as they're leaving. She says to him, you can try whatever you want to fucking try, but I'm not going anywhere. Lewis eventually does confront Harvey, accusing him of laughing at him, accusing them of laughing at him while they were having dinner. And at first he's like, you were watching it? Like, what? But he makes sure that Lewis understands that what they were laughing about had nothing to do with him. It was another joke about something else entirely. And that the reason why she didn't answer the phone was because they had made an agreement when they went out to eat that there was not going to be any business talk. It was just them. It was just them going out to have dinner. And he says, but last night was her and me, but right now I am here and I'm not going anywhere. Donna also comes there and says, look, we are here and we're not going anywhere. We had your back no matter what. Because at that point, he's like, look, he's so mad that he's like, look, I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm taking the judgeship. Bye. But once they explain what they were doing, he understands he, got the wrong idea. And also from Stan, I didn't even mention the dream. I've never seen Gabriel Mock do comedy before. This was a first. Lewis has a weird dream that night where he's there's two of him. One is a lawyer and one is a judge wearing a typical British lawyers or British judge's wig. And you got Alex and Samantha and Donna sitting in the pews there, admiring Lewis. Oh my God, he's so much better than Harvey. He's so hot. Oh my God, he's amazing. But it's really just Lewis. And then in the jury box, you got 12 Harveys, one holding a cat. And it was the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen. And apparently the defendant was Faye, and she's sentenced to death. So, yeah. Between the therapist and Harvey and Donna, he realizes he can't leave them. He can't walk away and take this judge step because they're his family, and he can't imagine his life without them. He knows if he leaves and becomes a judge, which is his dream, they'll be gone. They won't be there anymore. I mean, he might see them occasionally, but it won't be like it is now. And he can't even fathom not having his family around with him. So he decides to stay, and they're just going to have to keep toughing it out. So that's pretty much 903. Again, props to Gabriel Macht for another very well-directed episode. I have never seen him do comedy before, so this was a first. I kind of almost appreciate the levity because there's such a sense of drama going on right now with Faye being there that they really do need to splice in a bit of levity every now and then. So it's a nice up and down. So they won't be so stress-inducing with Faye there. You have little bits and pieces of laughter in there. And then you also get the nice laughter and stuff in there, and the joyful scenes with Darby to keep you a little bit high in between all the Faye lows. So yeah, it was very, very good. 904 is a big episode for Darby, this next one, because Faye's coming after them. Donna specifically. Apparently she has no idea that they're in a relationship. But she's going to find out sooner rather than later, and she's going to try to make Donna step down from being, not necessarily step down from COO, but she'll lose her vote. She wants to take away her vote because I guess she feels like Donna can't be pragmatic. She won't be able to vote wisely because her boyfriend is one of the partners. So that is going to definitely be a battle there because she's worked too hard to just lose that. So that's definitely going to be, most of the fandoms are already quite pissed off at the way that she's treated Donna thus far. It seems like she looks down on her like she's lesser, and I don't like it. I have a feeling that 904 is going to get kind of explosive. I wouldn't be surprised if Donna got up in her grill. Because Donna's not one to take it lightly to being shat on. So yeah, this is definitely an uphill battle for all of them. So yeah, that was 903. Yeah, that was a really good episode, like 10 out of 10. They did some great work. I love the girls' night out bit. Donna went over to talk to Sheila and to Lewis because she knew that Lewis was being stressed out. She felt bad that she wasn't there for him because she was out having dinner with Harvey. So she went. Lewis has been trying to do a girls' night out with her forever. So the fact that she finally agreed to do this for him is like the biggest deal in the world. He's like, oh my God, really? Oh my God, oh my God. So yeah, she just wanted to do something nice to make him happy and less stressed out, you know. So yeah, this was a really good episode. There was a lot of stress. There was stress and there was some stuff in there that really pissed you off. But this one was one of the few episodes that was actually like really joyful. There was more laughter than there was angst, which is kind of a breath of fresh air for this show that tends to have a lot of angst. All right, guys, I think I've gone on long enough. So I will be seeing you guys next week for episode 4. Don't forget, links to social media is down in the comments section there. Like, subscribe, give me those hits, smash, 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 and I will see you next week. Peace out.